There's never a quiet week in Cleveland. Just when it feels like the dust might settle, another headline explodes, and this time, it's the kind that could change everything. Insider Mary Kay has dropped a bombshell. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski might be stripped of his play-calling duties, with offensive coordinator Tommy Rees stepping in to take over. And that's not even the biggest twist. Shadur Sanders could finally be making his long-awaited return to the field. For a team that's been drowning in criticism, this might be the lifeline fans have been praying for. It's almost surreal to hear that the same Kevin Stefanski, who has stubbornly clung to his control over the Browns' offense, is now considering handing the reins to someone else. But let's be real. This doesn't sound like a voluntary act of humility. This sounds like the front office stepping in and saying, enough. Cleveland's leadership has been under immense fire, and this rumored shakeup feels less like innovation and more like survival. Fans have been calling for change for weeks. Every post-game show, every radio debate, every press conference has revolved around the same question. When will Stefanski realize he's the problem? Well, maybe that moment has finally arrived. What's happening behind the scenes in Cleveland right now feels like a silent war. You can almost sense the tension. Andrew Berry versus Kevin Stefanski, Shadur Sanders versus his own coach, and the fans versus the organization itself. There's a power struggle playing out quietly, but its impact is loud enough to shake the entire fan base. The team's chemistry has disintegrated, the locker room energy feels off, and the constant questionable decisions have left everyone wondering who's really running the show. And if Mary Kay's report is true, it means the higher-ups are finally forcing a course correction that Stefanski himself never had the courage to make. Because honestly, what other explanation could there be? After all the poor play calling, the offensive collapses, and the unnecessary quarterback drama, this move doesn't come from introspection, it comes from desperation. The Browns have spent the last several weeks unraveling under Stefanski's rigid, outdated philosophy. His loyalty to rookie Dillon Gabriel has been baffling, his disregard for Shadur Sanders downright insulting, and his post-game excuses almost unbearable. He's had chance after chance to turn it around, yet his stubbornness only deepened the crisis. The idea of Tommy Rees taking over isn't just a coaching adjustment, it's a rescue mission. And speaking of Shadur Sanders, his situation is perhaps the most infuriating part of all this. Here's a young quarterback with undeniable talent, composure, and leadership potential, benched and disrespected for reasons that make absolutely no sense. Stefanski's explanation about Shadur's so-called injury was vague to the point of absurdity. The best he could offer was that Shadur was a little stiff. That's not an injury report, that's an excuse. And when Shadur and his family came forward to clarify that he was fully healthy, Stefanski doubled down instead of admitting fault. That's not coaching, that's ego. For weeks, Shadur has been grinding in silence, practicing on his own, keeping his mind sharp, staying ready for an opportunity that never seemed to come. Imagine being that disciplined, that focused, and still being shut out by your own coach. It's not just frustrating, it's humiliating. And now, with rumors swirling that he could finally return under Tommy Rees's leadership, you can feel the fan base's cautious hope flickering back to life. The same fans who had nearly given up on this team are suddenly watching closely again. Tommy Rees represents something different. Not just a new voice, but a new mindset. He's known for tailoring his play calling to his quarterback's strengths rather than forcing them into a rigid scheme. Old clips of Rees working with Shadur have already resurfaced, showing real chemistry between the two. Moments of trust, rhythm, and energy that you could never find between Stefanski and Gabriel. Watching those practice tapes, hearing Rees encourage Shadur with that confident, guiding tone, it's easy to see what could be possible if they're finally allowed to work together on game day. If this pairing becomes reality, it could be a turning point for the Browns. Rees's offensive systems are fast-paced, aggressive, and built around precision passing, the exact environment Shedeur thrives in. Under Rees, quarterbacks don't just manage games, they attack. Drives become more fluid, receivers find space, and the offense starts to feel alive. Pair that with Shadur's intelligence, accuracy, and instinct, and suddenly the Browns have a formula for real success. It's almost poetic how everything Stefanski failed to achieve might be unlocked the moment someone else takes charge. But this story isn't just about X's and O's, it's about accountability. Stefanski can't just walk away from this mess without explanation. His decisions have derailed a promising season, risked the confidence of his players, and alienated a fan base that's stuck by this team through endless heartbreak. Whether he admits it or not, his ego has been the root of the problem. He drafted Gabriel, he benched Shedeur, and he's clung to his flawed strategy even as it dragged the Browns into the ground. The least he owes the fans, and Shadur, is an honest apology. Because make no mistake, this wasn't some harmless coaching experiment gone wrong. It was a series of ego-driven choices that could have permanently damaged a young quarterback's career. From the moment the Browns drafted Shedeur, there's been confusion and inconsistency. Who pushed for him? Why was he drafted in the 5th round when he clearly had first-round potential? Why was he denied meaningful reps in training camp? None of those questions have ever been answered, and Stefanski's behavior only makes them look more suspicious. Even respected voices like Tony Grossi have started to shift their tone, admitting that the realization has finally hit Stefanski, that Gabriel isn't the future, that the team can't win this way. But the truth is, this isn't a revelation. It's a reaction. Stefanski didn't suddenly grow wiser. He's just cornered. Every excuse has been exhausted, every defense dismantled, and now he's scrambling to salvage what little credibility he has left. The so-called reflection Grossi speaks of isn't self-awareness. It's fear. The fear of losing his job. Still, as tempting as it is to celebrate this turning point, Cleveland fans know better than to get ahead of themselves. They've seen too many false dawns, too many promises that fizzled out before the next kickoff. The truth will only be revealed once the changes actually happen, when Rees officially takes over the play calling, and when Shadur Sanders finally walks back onto that field as the starting quarterback he should have been from day one. Until then, all anyone can do is watch, wait, and hope this time it's real. Because if it is, the Browns could finally start to rebuild what's been broken. Not just their offense, but their faith. Now it's your turn. Do you believe Mary Kay's report is legit, or is this just another PR move from a desperate franchise trying to save face? Should Tommy Rees really take over play calling? And is Shadur Sanders the missing spark that could bring Cleveland back to life? Let's talk about it in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you're ready to see some real change in Cleveland, subscribe for more insider updates and turn on notifications so you're the first to know when this story unfolds. Because something big is brewing in Cleveland. And this time, it might just be the redemption arc fans have been waiting for.